posh, private yachts owned by Russian oligarchs are on the move, according to several websites tracking the richest Russians and their assets. Russian oligarchs scrambling their most pricey possessions, including commercial-sized aircraft, to safe havens they hope will be beyond the reach of U.S. and international law enforcement after a stark warning from President Biden during his State of the Union.
We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments, their private jets. We're coming for you, ill-begotten gains.
Hours after the president's pledge, the Justice Department unveiled a new task force titled KleptoCapture, where prosecutors will team up with experts in sanctions, money laundering, and national security to target these ultra-rich oligarchs who the U.S. government believes are propping up Putin.
We will leave no stone unturned in our efforts to investigate, arrest, and prosecute those whose criminal acts enable the Russian government to continue this unjust war.
So far, the U.S. government has sanctioned Putin himself, some of his closest advisors, and businessmen from his inner circle. But still unsanctioned by the U.S. are most of Russia's oligarchs, the wealthy business leaders who wield significant influence over the Russian government. The enormous scale of their global wealth has been on full display for decades. They've snatched up penthouses in London, Paris, New York, sent their kids to the poshest private schools in all parts of the world, and flooded cash into bank accounts across the globe. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the European Union has imposed sanctions on more than 24 of Russia's most prominent people and oligarchs who are active in the oil, banking, and finance sectors. And as a cascade of countries taking action intensifies, experts say Russian oligarchs are increasingly looking for ways to protect their wealth.
There was one of them with the 787 that flew to Dubai.
19-year-old Jack Sweeney has already amassed more than 300,000 followers on the new Twitter handles he's created to track the movements of the private jets tied to Russia's oligarchs and billionaires, at PutinJet and at RU Oligarch Jets.
We're seeing Russian oligarchs panic and quickly try to divest their assets.
Max Bergman worked at the State Department during the Obama administration and says the new task force created by the Justice Department could not only freeze and seize significant assets from these oligarchs, but it could discourage them from buying up land and property in major cities around the world.
I think this is precedent setting. I think there's been a recognition that the global economy has sort of become out of whack, and global wealth and global elites have park their money in perhaps in illicit ways in the U.S. and in the West, and there's a need to crack down.
At least 2 Russian oligarchs have now publicly called for Putin to end the war, including Oleg Deripaska, a billionaire who made his fortune in the aluminum business and has already been sanctioned by the U.S. back in 2018. He wrote in a Sunday post on Telegram, "Peace is very important. Negotiations need to start as soon as possible."
If all of the oligarchs were to come together and try to hatch a plot to change Putin's mind or, potentially even change the regime in Russia, certainly that is something that is possible.